Today in class we learn chapter 7, which is about building an animated robot. So I'm just going to summarize this chapter real quick. It's a very short summary. So chapter 7, the chapter walks us through the process of creating an animated robot using JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So I'm not going to go much over the PDF. I'm just going to explain the code. So I'm just going to explain the robot code. Okay. So over here we've got background color, and this will make our robot eye color blue. And then this is just the width, which will make the eye element 30%, and the height will be 30% of the eye, and then the border radius, which is 50%, and this arounds the corners of the eye elements, making them more circular. And then we've got the arm. So we want here we've got our background color, which will make our armor light gray, and then we've got the position, which is absolute, and then we've got the top 35%. So this positions the top arm of the element to 35% on the robot, and then we've got the width, which is 30%, and this is the width of the arm element on the robot, which will be 30%, and then we've got the height, which is 40%, and this sets the height of the arm element to 40%. And then moving on, we've got the head. So with the head, we have the width, which is 30%, the height 30%, and then the border radius is 15%. So this will, where am I? So this will round the corners of the head element. And then we've got our background color, and it will also be a light gray color. And then we've got the position, which is absolute, the left 33%. So that basically positions the left side of the head element to 33% from the left side of the robot. And then we've got top, which is 5%, and this positions the top of the head element to 5% from the top of the robot's head. Moving on, we've got the right eye. And in the right eye, we've got the position, which is absolute, and then we've got left, which is 20%. So this positions the left eye of the right eye element to 20% from the left eye of the robot. And then we've got top, which is 20%. So this positions the top of the right eye element to 20% from the top of the robot. Moving on, we've got left eye, and the position is absolute. And then we've got left 60%. So this positions the left side of the left eye element to 60% from the left side of the robot. And then we've got top, which is 20%. And this positions the top of the left eye element to 20% on the robot. And then we've got mouth. The position is absolute, and then we've got the width, which is 65%, and that sets the width of the mouth to 65% of the robot. And then we've got height, which is 15%, and that sets the height of the mouth on the robot to 15%. And then we've got left, which is 20. Then we've got height, which is 15%, and that sets the height of the mouth to 15% on the robot. And then we've got left, which is 20%, and this positions the left side of the mouth to 20% on the robot. And then we've got top, which is 70%, and this positions the top of the mouth element on the robot to 70%. And then we've got the background color, which will make the robot's mouth red. Then we've got body. So the body, the position is absolute, and then left is 25%. So this positions the left side of the body of the robot to 25% from the left side. And then we've got top, which is 35%. So this positions the top of the body element to 35% on the robot. And then we've got width, which is 45%, and this sets the width of the body to 45% on the robot. And then we've got height, which is 55%, and this sets the height of the body element on the robot to 55%. And then we've got the background color, which is going to be a light gray color. And then we've got the text align colon center, so this sends the text inside the body element horizontally. And then we've got pairing top 30px, which is pixels. So that's 830 pixels of pairing on the top inside the body element. Then moving on, we've got the right arm. So the position is absolute. And then we've got left, which is 20%. So this positions the left side of the right arm on the robot to 20%. And then we've got the left arm. And the position is absolute. And then the left is 70%, so this positions the left side of the left arm on the robot to 70% from the left side of the robot. And then we've got the width, which is 25%, and that sets the width of the left arm of the robot to 25%. And then we've got height, which is 5%, sorry, and that sets the height of the left arm element of the robot to 5%. And then, so basically, in this code, the CSS code styles the various parts of the robot, including the left eye, mouth, body, right arm, and left arm. So by left eye, just go up over here. The ID positions the left eye absolutely within the robot, and then the mouth IDs the position and styles the mouth with a red background color, and then the ID styles the body with a light gray background color and center the text inside the body. And then we've got right arm. And the ID positions the right arm and the left arm. IDs, IDs positions the sizes of the left arm. So these properties control the appearance of the layout of the robot, ensuring that each part is positioned and styled correctly within the overall structure of the robot. And then I want to explain this code over here, and then I am going to run the code on my browser and check if everything works the way it should. So over here we've got a variable which is called right eye document docket element by ID, which is right eye, and then another variable which is left arm document docket element by ID, which is left arm. So basically this code selects HTML with IDs right eye and left arm and assigns them to the variables right eye and left arm. So I just want to explain what document docket element by ID, what it actually does. So it's going to allow us to target the element in the HTML document and manipulate the HTML element and improve our code by making it more readable and maintainable. And moving on, we've got the right eye add event listener click move up down, and then left arm dot add listener click move right eye move right left. So these lines add event listener, so the right eye and the left arm element. When these elements are clicked, the corresponding functions move up, down, and move right, left will be called. So basically what this element over here does, add event listener, it makes our web page interactive and separates the JavaScript from the HTML. We can attach multiple event handlers to a single element for the same event type. So basically, it helps us move so when we click on our eye or our arm, this basically helps us, it basically commands the code to make the robot move when we click the right eye and the left arm. Then moving on, we've got a function. So here we first got a parameter, and the function takes the event object, which is E. So we've got a variable robot path, and that stores the element triggered by the event. And then we've got variable top, that initializes the position at 0. So the frame function over here it's an interval function. So this calls the frame every 10 ms. So this adjusts the top style property of the rubber part to simulate upward movement, and then it increases top by 1 every iteration, and then stops the animation when the top reaches 20% of the viewport height. And then moving on, we've got another function which is frame. So we've got a variable which is called robo part, and this stores the element, and then we've got a variable which is left. And this initializes the position at 0, and then we've got another function. So I'm explaining this function over here. So this calls a frame every 10 ms, and basically the function here is it adjusts the left style property of the rubber part to simulate rightward movement, and increases the left by 1 every iteration, and then stops the animation when left reaches 70% of the viewport width. So to summarize this code, the JavaScript adds interactively the elements with IDs right eye and left arm. When these elements are clicked, they move either up and down with the move up down function, or right and left with the move right left function in response with the click events, and then the event handlers are used to detect user interactions, and style properties like top and left are manipulated within the interval functions to create the animation. So I'm just going to run the code. And that's what happens when we move our eye, and then when we tap on our arm, and then you can see it move. And that is it for chapter 7.